What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today I'm making you a cocktail called a Cocchi Cola, which is kind of a mouthful, and created by Jim Meehan for the summer 2013 menu at PDT. Please don't tell, his bar in New York City. Well, actually, he was actually ousted from the bar recently, so I don't think he's got anything to do with PDT at this moment. Anyway, this cocktail is awesome. We're gonna get into it really quickly. But what's great about it is that the culmination of all these flavors kind of gives it this kind of accent of Coca-Cola, although there is no cola. All right, let's get into making the thing. So first thing we're gonna do, I picked with the jigger, but then I was like, you know what, we need the bitters first. So it says, the recipe calls for 1 dash, but this is dispensed in drops. So for me, 1 dash is like 3 drops of Tiki Bitters from Bittermans. Then we're gonna do ½ ounce of Amaro Nonino. I said Amaro, kind of weird. Amaro. Well, I always keep on saying Amaro. It's Amaro. And not only that, I also forgot to say that if you guys tune in at the end of this cocktail video, I'm going to give a little bit of the specs on each bottle. We're going to go through what they are. What's that?
I was going to say, just more fun pronunciations, maybe.
And more fun pronunciations as well. Yeah. I love getting corrected in the comments. And then we're going to do 3/4 ounce of Cocchi Americano, which is a white wine aperitif liqueur. And then, even though the original recipe calls for Dickel 12, I really like using my Uncle Nearest small batch for this. We're going to do 1½ ounces. And that is all she wrote. Pretty simple, guys. Pretty simple. So then what we're going to do is crack the ice. Maybe crack another. Add a couple of our bigger hand-cut awesome cube ice in and give it a nice stir. Center our glass. Put this guy here, put that guy there, put this over here, and then put that there. Like that. So it's perfect. It feels weird to be off to the side here like this, like it's just going on off to the side. It smells incredible. I can just, so aromatic, I can smell it from down there. Or I can smell it from up here. I'm not smelling from down there. I meant I can smell it down there from up here. Give it a nice stirry-poo. Stirry-poo. All right, I think that's good. And then we'll put in our vintage spring strainer, but it's kind of like it's kind of half a hawthorn, half a julep. I love this strainer. And then we're gonna give it a nice strain into our glass. Ooh, let's taste it. Look at that gold color, that's nice. It's a beautiful gold color. Whoa, it is accented like it has Coke in it. Ooh. That's really good, really vibrant in flavor. So, let me tell you all about why I love Cocchi Americano before we get into the whiskey, because you know what's great about this cocktail, just off the bat, is that you taste the whiskey right up front and then it devolves into the profile of the Cocchi Americano. And what's so great about Cocchi Americano is that it's a white wine aperitif liqueur. It's kind of sweet, but it has quinine in it and cinchona bark, and so it has this very, like, I don't know what the word to describe it is. It has this like very specific bitter flavor profile, but supported by sweetness. This stuff is actually some of my favorite stuff to just drink over ice with a little bit of soda on it. Just like a short glass, 2 ounces of this, some ice, and then just say like 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of soda. Lengthening out the flavor profile is like, that's like one of my favorite kind of aperitif style, you know, after dinner drinks, or like even like a before bed nightcap. But this is so vibrantly flavored, and you quite honestly, is the flavor profile so supported from that Amaro Nonino, which is going to be kind of on the sweeter Amari. So like Amari have there are different styles of Amari, and some are very, very bitter, and some are like, you know, very like kind of alpine herbed flavor, almost like chartreuse or something. And then you've got the ones that are a little bit sweeter. So the ones that are a little bit sweeter would be like Amaro Nonino. I think I would put the Cocchi, I would put, not the Cocchi, but I would put the Amaro Cicciaro also in that category. And so you have that kind of like savory sweetness kind of balancing out that kind of sharp sweetness, and then the whiskey comes through all of it. It's really, really good cocktail. Something so familiar. It's almost like almost like a burnt bitter orange, you know, is kind of coming through there. But you know, it almost reminds me of like a very sharp kind of cola, not necessarily Coke, but like almost like the house-made cola that we made. Was that 2 years ago now, Marius? Was it 2 years ago? Really?
Yeah,
wow,
probably.
time flies, guys. 2 years ago. 2 years ago we made this. You guys should go check it out actually, because we did a whole different thing. It was an experimental episode that we kept up. We did it in a way that has absolutely nothing to do with the style of video that we do now, but it does teach you how to make like a house-made cola syrup, which we used in a few cocktails, and this kind of tastes like that on the back end. So there it is, the Cocchi Cola. Now let's talk about the bottles we have in front of us. So that brings us to Amaro Nonino Quintessa. So Amaro Nonino is a grappa based Amaro, which is a grape distillate that is infused with herbs and spices from the mountains. It is, I want to give you the flavor profiles, but it's been a while since I've had it on its own. I tend to have this more in cocktails than as a digestif, which is what it is used as. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who works for an Amaro company, and he was saying how the Italians have just caught on to the fact that cocktails with Amaro are really big in the United States, and they just don't understand it. All they ever do is drink it by itself. They don't understand why we would put it in cocktails. And they're just sort of started learning about it now, which is kind of cool. It is my dream one day to have some brands pay me to go on the Amaro tour of Italy. We just have to wait until this whole, you know, this whole coronavirus thing is wrapped up. All right, let's take a sip and see what it tastes like. So it's got this nice caramelized flavor. You get a lot of licorice in there and some anise and bitter orange. Bitter orange is the kind of one element that most Amari have in common, right? Because most of them use that bitter orange flavor, and so that bitter orange finish is what you're gonna find in a lot of Amari. What's nice about this is that it's both light, but it's also very, very, it is very, very fragrant. It is very, what's the word, Marius, for something that that's like very big in its flavor? I'm not thinking of the word.
Bold?
Like, yeah, bold in flavor, I guess, is a good way to describe it. You know, but it's like not going to take you over with all the bitterness. It is a little bit sweet, but it has these like kind of caramelized sugar, licorice notes, and a little bit of anise. All of it is balanced pretty well. It's very complex in flavor. The flavors kind of open up on your palate one at a time. It's really, really nice. And now, tasting it on its own, I can tell you exactly what it's doing in that cocktail. I know exactly what is kind of making that kind of cola flavor. So there you have it, guys. A little bit of info on the bottles that we did today, and this really nice Cocchi Cola cocktail from PDT. Hope you like our channel. If you do, please hit like and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/educatedbarfly. We have a new channel called Barfly Freeport. You should check that out. And it's just youtube.com/Barfly Freeport. Everyone always asks me for a link. Well, I'll provide you a link, but there is also just the YouTube /Barfly Freeport. All right, guys. See you guys on another time.